Hi, and welcome to another surprise live because I don't like scheduling things. I'm just going to do this because it's weird to. It's just the chair I'm in, and then. Do you like my shirt? 90s. Okay, so I like the show The Patient. I at least believe it is quite interesting. And normally I can't find a lot of people. Hi, Lizzie Stardust. Hi, Stacy Bobbles. I can't find a lot of people who enjoy the same shows that I do. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I would love to have somebody else on because it helps me kind of in conversation whenever I have someone to talk to. So instead, I'm just going to talk to somebody else and hope that they don't play their their videos. I'm going to play their commentary and comment on their commentary of the show that I'm commentating on so we can commentate. I don't know why I'm looking at the microphone as if that's what's recording my face. I'm not that intelligent, so if you came here for that, try harder because it's not me. All right. This guy, I think, is called Critical Flick. So if you're Critical Flick, don't strike my channel because I'm going to comment on your comment of your commenting. The Patient is a series on Netflix. I believe it's only going to be one season. I've kind of heard and read that that's what the producers of the show have intended. I don't see how it could be a second season. I'm sure you could do spinoffs of the other characters' videos. The other characters' lives and how their lives are now impacted. Again, I'm just going to look at the microphone. So I also feel like I just sometimes want it closer because I feel like I sound better when it's closer because, it's a microphone. But I don't want to all of a sudden talk too loud and bust your eardrums open. I care about you. I appreciate you. Steve Carrell is in this series. It's a serious series. If you haven't watched it, it can get very, very dark and has things. I don't know if I'm allowed to freaking say this word. I really need to research what terms you can say or cannot say on YouTube because I'm really not familiar. But what happened to Jewish people? So Steve Carell's character is a therapist and he has a patient. And it turns out to be a whole crazy situation. So I'm going to go ahead and play.
Today, I'm reviewing the first 2 episodes of The Patient, now streaming on Hulu.
Just the first 2?
The Patient is a new psychological thriller that has just released on Hulu. Like I said, the first 2 episodes are up right now. I have to say,
It's all
so
completed.
far, it's quickly becoming one of my favorite shows of the year. In this show, we have Domhnall Gleeson, who plays a serial killer. He's someone who is deeply disturbed, and he's meeting with Steve Carell, who is a therapist. And you find out very quickly.
Oh, you know what?
That he has captured Steve Carell. He went to meet with him a couple.
I probably should have said this is spoilers. So spoilers. So yes, just like he is saying, Steve Carell is a therapist. This guy comes in and talks to him and just kind of speaks very superficially to his therapist. And let's make sure I'm not freaking muted. Where am I? I mean, I know I'm at home, but really, where am I? Doesn't look like I'm muted. Hi, Nikki. Good morning. I should probably put all these on here so people that are watching back don't think I'm completely crazy. So, spoilers. spoilers. Spoiler? Spoiler. If you haven't watched the show, I'm going to talk all about it and ruin it for you. If you're currently watching the show and need emotional support, hi, I'm here for you. I'm not the problem. The show's the problem, right? Okay? Because it's disturbing. It goes to super dark places. And I really wanted to talk about the show because I feel like I need therapy from watching it. So you're my therapy. And oh my gosh, this is like right over my mouth. So I need like a stand or something, but I don't know how far I want to go with all this, you know? I already bought a super expensive microphone, but I like it. Let's see. What is the next? Hi, Nikki May. Basically, the patient that he's talking about turns out to be, can you say Cheerio killer? Lucky Charms? Unaliver? Tricks? Angry take lifer? So the reason this guy has not been more forthcoming in therapy is because he wants to admit what he has done and is doing, and he wants help with it, and he wants help to stop. So it's too bad. I just kind of picked this one at random, this video at random. I didn't know it was the first 2 episodes, so maybe we'll just go over the first 2 episodes.
A couple times and decided that he was going to capture him and bring him into his home, chain him up in his living room, and force him to treat him in that way. First thing that I'll have to say is I think that the performances are phenomenal so far. Donald Gleason is an amazing actor in the show.
I agree. I have seen Steve Carrell in another serious role, but I can't remember what it is. But he does do phenomenally well. Yes, do not be fooled. Even though Steve Carell is in the series, it is not even close to being comedic at all whatsoever. Not even on a satire level, okay? It is awful. I wouldn't say is it as disturbing as The Handmaids? It's kind of up there. It's kind of up there. So, yes, whoever this dude is, I don't know who he is. But I don't know what his real name is, but in real life. But he does a very good job.
He's
acting.
Really just giving it all. He's such a like menacing and creepy individual. He's someone who definitely has a lot of issues just below the surface. It's very subtle acting, and it's done. It's such a just genuine and just it's just a masterclass of playing this type of character because you can see almost this like deadness in his eyes, but then when he becomes angry or he becomes very passionate about something, you're seeing like a switch like click in his head. There's this one scene where he's talking about how he interacted with an individual that just made him very angry, that made him feel worthless, and you're seeing that like switch change in his mind. And I think Donald Gleason's performance as this character is, like I said, one of the best that I've seen so far this this year. Steve Carrell is also very good so far. He's someone who definitely is suppressing some issues from his past. We find out early on that his wife has recently passed away, and he's kind of struggling to adapt to his life without her. He's having a lot of like nightmares and dreams of her being there, but
my
she's not there.
microphone
There's
keeps
always some
unplugging.
weird symbolism involving his child or someone's child. We haven't really fully dove into what's happening.
Again, I really have to solve this problem. If I tap the microphone from underneath even just a little bit, it like disconnects, even though it's not physically disconnected. What I was saying is that I really like Steve Carell's sweater, and this is completely irrelevant to the issue, but yeah, I know. I always get really passionate when I'm muted, right? And like really animated. But his sweater makes me wanna hug him and like he's my grandpa, and I said, "I understand that we're probably close to the same age in real life, but in this situation, he's my grandfather." So, okay, I'm gonna make sure to go from screen to screen, so
with his character, and I think it creates a lot of intrigue because both the characters are playing almost a game of chess with one another. We don't really know how either one truly feels about the other, and I think that's the thing that keeps the show so tense and so interesting.
I disagree
The
with
overall
that.
atmosphere and the writing of the show is something I feel is really spectacular. It sets it apart.
I feel like I don't feel like it was about what people thought of each other. I don't think it was what they both thought about each other, and I think we could tell. I mean, Steve Carell wasn't too happy about being chained up in his basement. I think it was pretty evident. All right, let's wait. Whoa.
Apart from some of the other shows on television, is just the amount of suspense and tension that is just between these two characters, and also having a really atmospheric score in the background. It helps swell those moments and knows when to keep it really quiet. There's a lot of really quiet and personal dialogue between these two.
Yes.
You're really fixated and focused in, and as the stories ramp up, I mean, you really see how much.
And I don't know, I can't remember what the second episode gets to, but during the series where Steve Carell is there, he kind of goes off in his mind, kind of goes to a place where he can cope with the situation that he's in. And he is speaking to his therapist in his mind, and his therapist has since passed. And then he has dreams about, again, what happened to Jewish people. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that H word, but those were like, you're already watching something so disturbing, and then it clicks to people being in it switches to people being in concentration camps, and there's a reason for bringing all this in. For one, Steve Carell is Jewish in this series. I believe he's Jewish in real life, but that's part of the issues he has and works throughout this series with his family. Let's see if I'm muted. No, I'm not. Issues with his son going in a more extreme level of his faith, and how that has affected the family's dynamic and Steve's relationship with his son, his wife's relationship with his son. So there's also some, I guess, for lack of better words, symbolism throughout this, especially when there's a scene later on towards the end where the patient, the Cheerio unaliver, he brings his former girlfriend over at Steve's suggestion. because Steve is trying to get him to connect with people and build purpose in life. And oh, again, big spoiler. I think this comes out in the very first episode. You hear someone's footsteps upstairs, Steve does, when he's locked down in the basement, and Cheerio guy is at work. So Steve's like, oh my gosh, who else is here? And you're thinking, like, does he have somebody else locked up? Did someone randomly come over and now they're going to rescue me? Turns out to be Cheerio's mom, who knows that Steve's down there and is complacent with the whole situation because she really wants her son to get help. So she's like, yeah, I could let you out. Hi, Gretchen. But my son needs help, so you're going to stay here and fix him. So Cheerio Hater is upstairs in the kitchen with his mom and his former girlfriend or wife. And Steve is downstairs with a baby monitor watching their conversation, because later the idea is that he is going to, cover the dynamic from a psycho therapeutic standpoint with Cheerio Dude to help him with the situation. But of course, he also has another motive, is to be rescued. And he being Steve, is toying with the idea of reaching or screaming out and asking for help and like, hey, I'm down here, help rescue me. But I really need to bring this up, and I probably will look for it while I push play again and he is speaking. But at what cost would Steve have help? For one, he probably wouldn't get help. And as soon as he screams out, Cheerios is going to have another victim. He's not going to let this go. He's going to turn around and the chick, like, oh no, now I've got someone chained up in the basement. This can't happen. So boop, you're done. And then he'll probably go down and Steve too. So my whole point in that being, it was referencing the Jewish H situation. And again, I'll research it. Someone had a very good point and really explained it in a way that some things I didn't pick up on. I believe it was on Reddit, where you are taking other people's lives to save your own. And perhaps there are situations in life or otherwise where you could save yourself, but that would mean someone else's life would be over. So at what point are we willing to go to save ourselves? All right. Let's see. And everyone has big issues with the ending of the series as well.
Which is wrong with Donald Gleason's character. It just really is kind of a gut punch. There's moments where you're like, this guy really is truly disturbed, but he is looking for help in a way. It's a really unique take on the story. As far as the production design, I think it works really well. It takes place a lot in one environment. Like I said, he has Steve Carell chained up in this living room. So a lot of moments take place in there, but it is a like self-contained thing. It feels like the environment is very claustrophobic and you're trapped there with him. So I think that works. I mean, you're seeing flashbacks.
I am muted. That is very true. All of the series kind of takes place basically in the basement, dining rooms, places where you do feel like very suffocated and trapped, even in certain emotional situations. It there are flashbacks to his son's wedding and his mom doing something at the wedding where it made everyone uncomfortable, and just this sense of, when is this uncomfortable situation going to end? That was kind of a reoccurring theme throughout the series as well. I'm gonna let him talk a little bit more. Sorry, I keep saying
Next to Steve Carell's life previously to that. Maybe we're going to maybe see a little bit of maybe Donald Gleason's life, but I really would like to see kind of a separation of these two characters, because I think the intrigue and mystery is the thing that really keeps the show going. And it's only 20 minutes an episode, so it goes by really, really quickly, which I do enjoy. So it's never too dull or too boring. And when you're working with a show that has this amount of tension and this amount of conflict between two characters,
I feel like there was kind of times where it was boring, but I think that perhaps was intentional. Not that I wanted there to be constant horrific things happening, but I did get bored at some moments. However, I believe that was the intent. I'm sure there were times throughout when he was captured where he was bored out of his mind as well. He didn't have TV. He didn't have books. He didn't have anything to write with. I know he wrote a letter to his son toward the end. Let me make sure I'm not muted. Okay, I'm not. But just like someone mentioned on Reddit that the directors were discussing the scenes where Cheerio Man would be in the bathroom that was in the basement where Steve Carell was, and he would always hear him urinating. And that dude had the longest pee time. And that was kind of a current scene that would come up throughout the series. And everyone was like, why? Well, it was to build the uncomfortable feeling. I'm sitting through this agonizing, personal, intimate, shouldn't be around this. This is gross. This is disgusting moment. And it's never ending. And it was like an audible way to feel that same intensity. All right, let's keep playing. Wow, I can really make a 5-minute video.
I feel like it would be kind of overbearing for it to be 45 minutes episode or an hour an episode. So I think it moves really quickly, and it's just the writing is so sharp and the dialogue so well delivered that I think it's excellent so far. I think Donald Gleason's performance as this serial killer.
Okay, I'm actually gonna stop this guy. Sorry, dude. And then I'm gonna share something else. I'm gonna share the Reddit post where it's referring to, is the correct term allusions to, or is that only for Christianity? I don't know. But alluding to the Holocaust throughout this series. Someone wrote, in my opinion, this show is literally just a direct rehashing of the Hollow Bit, but writ small on a 1 versus 1 level. One captor, Sam, his surname Fortner, is German. One prisoner who is selected for labor under long-term imprisonment, Alan. Alan is targeted for being Jewish, Sam. I tried 3 other Jewish therapists, and one of those targeted, he is selected based on his fitness for that labor. Sam says you're the best. Because Sam wrote a book. Sam is Steve Carell's character. And he wrote a book, which I don't ever think it discusses what it's actually about. But it's basically, he's a therapist. So maybe it did write say what it was about, but I missed it. Let's just say it's becoming your best self. So, one prisoner selected for imminent death, Elias. The name oh, I'm sorry, Elias, forgive me, has both Hebrew and Greek origins, implying Elias might also be Jewish. Who is Elias? I don't remember. One fully aware bystander who refuses to intervene, Candace, that was his mom. Alan's estrangement from his son represents a broader estrangement between Orthodox and Reformed Judaism. In real life, the schism between traditionalists and non-traditionalists was forming long before the Halablit, just like how the estrangement in the show is long-standing. Sam, both out of grudges, anger, pride, and out of strategy, like how the poo-poo heads of Germany attacked countries both out of grudges related to World War I and out of strategic planning. I don't know, it just seems really clear that the show is the boop without individual people. Oh, but with individual people replacing large groups and countries. And again, someone discussed before that scene, and I'll have to find that as well. I just can't. But of they had a really good point connected to the hollow boop, where it was about, I could save myself, but that would mean someone else's life would end. So I'm going to do, how about that? I'm going to do some more of these because I did enjoy the show, and there's a lot to say about it, and the ending is super controversial, and I both liked it and didn't like it. And again, I mean, seemed like the point. I hope you all have a good day. Thank you for being here, and I don't know.